Hi my loves, welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. Here in this channel we talk about relaxed care, hair growth tips, protective styling, and anything hair related. So if you know you're interested in this type of content, please consider subscribing to join the family. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys hair growth tips. So I posted a poll on my community tab to know what type of videos you guys want, and majority of you picked hair growth tips. So here I am, you asked, I'm delivering. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 24 hair growth tips that you can implement this year in order to produce positive results and achieve the goals you have for your hair this year. So without further ado, the first on the list is create a healthy hair regimen. You need to have a regimen. You need to have a set of routines, a set of rules, a set of tasks, a set of to-dos that your hair has to go through or that you need to do on your hair periodically. So you need to have a regimen which needs to take into consideration your hair routines, your hair products, your hair trims, deep conditioning, moisturizing, protective styles, relaxer stretches, the duration, and all this. So every single thing you carry on your hair needs to be put together under a regimen. It's one thing to have a hair regimen and it's another to have a healthy hair regimen. I think I already made a video on how to create a hair regimen if you are having difficulty in doing this. I'll make sure to link it down in the description box below so that you can check it out if you are interested. So you need to create a regimen. You have to know what routine you are going to carry on your hair next, what you are going to do to your hair next week, next month, in the next 2 months, 3 months, and so much more. Even though it is possible that your regimen may change from time to time, what's important is that you have a regimen. I have always had a hair regimen right from when I started my hair journey, and even though this regimen has undergone modifications over the past 9 years, I still make sure that at whatever point I am in my hair journey, I have a hair regimen. So it's important you create a hair regimen and you create one that is healthy. Now moving on, the second hair growth tip I have for you guys is to always finger detangle before going in with a comb. You are going to experience less breakage when you go in with your fingers before you go in with a comb, because whether we like it or not, our fingers are more gentle than the combs. You can feel with your fingers if there's a knot, you can gently pull that apart with your fingers, or like the comb that will just rip everything out. So before you even think of going it with a comb, after taking down your protective styles, after your wash routines, after anything at all you carry on your hair, when you want to detangle your hair, before you go in with a comb, make sure to finger detangle. There have even been times in my hair journey where I don't even use a comb. For example, there was a time I was just finger detangling. I think I did that for about 1 to 2 months straight. I didn't use a comb on my hair for that entire period. I was just finger detangling. My hair was in a short and protective style, that's bond. So I'll take down the bond, finger detangle, put it back in the bond, and I was just doing that every single day. And the amount of breakage I got that period was reduced compared to when I used combs. So it's important that before you go in with a comb, finger detangle. This way you can get rid of any shade there, every knot, as much as possible before you go in with a comb. Now moving on, the next hair growth tip is read the ingredients on the label of your hair products. I know some of us don't do this, but we should actually be doing this, because I know there may have been times we get a product after it has been recommended by a YouTuber, a friend, a neighbor, and we just start using that product without going through the ingredients, without seeing what is there on the label to know if it is compatible with our hair. Guys, we have to make sure that before using any product on our hair, we read the ingredients, we read the content of that product. There are a ton of reasons why it's important to read the ingredients on the label of a product. For example, by going through the ingredients, you would know if it is what your hair needs at that point. For example, if your hair is suffering from protein overload and you purchase the product and you are seeing things like soy protein, wheat protein, and and other forms of protein, you should realize then that it is only going to worsen the problem of your hair. It is going to add to the protein overload you already have, and instead of seeing results by using that product, you are going to see breakage. On the other hand, if your hair is having moisture overload and you are seeing things like olive oil, aqua, glycerin, and other form of humectant or any other moisturizing ingredients on the product, you should know that that product is going to worsen the moisture overload of your hair, and instead of seeing length retention, you are going to get breakage. So that is why it is important for you to go through the ingredients of the product you use. If your hair has protein overload, you need to look for a product that has moisturizing ingredients, and if you have moisture overload, you need to look for a product that has protein ingredients. Another reason why it is important for you to know the content of the product you are using is to make sure you are not allergic to the product, because some products contain things that can be irritants or allergens depending on individuals. For example, someone that is allergic to groundnuts, peanuts, or almond nuts may not be able to use a product that contains almond oil. So you have to go through the ingredients in the products to make sure that you are not allergic to any of the content. Now moving on, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is scalp massages. I know I don't do this all the time, but the few times I have done it, I saw great improvements in the state of my hair when it comes to growth, when it comes to moisturizing. I think there was a time I did a 30 days hair growth challenge, which involved oiling my scalp and massaging my scalp every single day. I shared that with you guys on the channel, so you can go through the videos if you are interested. The playlist is linked down below. So during that period, I realized that apart from the fact that the rate of my hair growth doubled, I also realized that my hair became more moisturized even without adding additional products. So when you do scalp massages, what this does is to stimulate more blood flow to your scalp, which is going to help in hair growth. So scalp massages can actually increase the hair growth of your hair if your hair is not at its maximum hair growth rate already. Like I said earlier, when I was doing that scalp massage challenge, my hair became more moisturized. So another benefit of scalp massages on the hair is making your hair more moisturized, because the more you massage your scalp, the more you stimulate oil production, and that's why some of us have seen that the more you touch your hair, the greasier it becomes. Now moving on, the next tip I'm going to be talking about is avoid over manipulation. Our hair would see tremendous length retention, and you'll be able to achieve your hair growth faster if you can just leave your hair alone. When I got to a growth plateau about 4 to 5 years ago, I was stuck at mid-back length for quite a while. What I did was to reduce manipulation on my hair, basically. So right from the onset of my hair journey, I have always avoided over manipulation, and that's why I put my hair away in protective styles. So when I got to that plateau, what I did was to reduce the manipulation on my hair even further by increasing the duration of my protective styles and my relaxer stretches. Now there are different ways we over manipulate our hair that we may not even know, and one of them is to change our protective styles too frequently. Now alternating between long-term and short-term protective styles is a different thing. If you are in the short-term protective style phase, there is nothing wrong with changing your style, like from a bun to 2 braids or 2 twists, like every week. But when every style you install is a short-term protective style, that becomes a problem. When you install box braids and you don't even carry them for up to 2 weeks, you install twists, you don't carry them for up to 2 weeks, you install sew-ins, and in the next 1 week you are taking them down. Guys, this is too much manipulation. Our hair loves being left alone, so the longer you can carry your protective styles, the better. Like I said, I am big on long-term protective styles, so my hair is almost always in long-term protective styles, except when I get a relaxer touch-up. Immediately after I relaxer touch-up, I install short-term protective styles. But When it's getting to that 2-3 months mark, I start installing long-term protective styles again. So the less frequently you change your protective style, the less you manipulate your hair and the better it will be for your hair. Now another way we may be over manipulating our hair and we are not aware of is too much combing, and this usually comes when your hair is not in a protective style. There are some of us that even comb our hair twice a day, guys, in the morning and at night before we go to bed. That is just too much manipulation. You shouldn't use a comb on your hair every single day. It is not necessary to use a comb on your hair every single day. Like I said, your fingers are enough to detangle your hair if you can do it right. So combing your hair too frequently, combing your hair twice a day, combing your hair every day is just too much manipulation. So we should try as much as possible to cut back on that if we want to see length retention. Another way we may be over manipulating our hair is running our fingers through our hair, playing with our hair. So some of us do this a lot, where you just sit down and unconsciously you run your fingers through your hair. You are playing with your hair subconsciously. Guys, this can also be a form of over manipulation. As much as possible, avoid playing with your hair, avoid running your fingers through your hair when it is not necessary. So yeah guys, if we want to see length retention, we have to try as much as possible to avoid over manipulation in all these forms. Now moving on, the next tip I'm going to be talking about is when detangling, start from the ends and work your way up. Whatever form of detangling you are doing, either using a comb, using your fingers, using a brush, always start from the ends of your hair and work your way up, because when you start from way up or from the root, you tend to create bigger knots and tangles, which is going to result in more breakage. So in order to minimize breakage, always start from the ends and work your way up, because this is going to create smaller knots which are generally easier to detangle rather than big knots which are difficult to detangle, and at the end you may just have to rip everything up. So always learn to start detangling your hair from the ends and work your way up. Now moving on, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is protective styles. You guys know this list would not be complete if I don't talk about protective styles. If you are OG on the channel, you know this already. Like, protective styles is one of the major things that helped me grow my hair to hip length and even past that. And you guys know I almost always talk about protective styles on the channel. I have done a lot of protective style challenges which I shared with you guys on the channel. I am currently on a protective style and I am going to start another protective style challenge soon, so please do stay tuned for that. If there is only one thing you are going to take from this video, please let it be protective styling. Protective styling is key when it comes to length retention, because as your hair grows longer, your ends become weaker. Your ends are the weakest part of your hair. So if you can take care of your ends, if you can retain length in your ends, you will definitely see a result in length retention, because if you can keep your ends, the rest part of your hair can never be a problem. So this is where protective styles come in. As long as you can tuck your ends away, you are good. Now, not every style is a protective style. There are some styles that leave your hair out, that leave your ends out. That is not a complete protective style. A style like ponytail is a low manipulation style and not a protective style. Styles that involve you keeping your hair away but leaving your ends exposed are more of low manipulation styles rather than protective styles. So if your ends are exposed, it's a low manipulation style, but if your ends are tucked away, then it's a protective style. From the ends, protective, you are protecting your ends. I already made a video about the difference between protective styles and low manipulation styles, so you can check that video out if you are interested. But basically, in low manipulation styles, your ends are still exposed, while in protective styles, your ends are tucked away. So we have to make sure our ends are always protected at every point in time. My ends are almost always tucked away, apart from when I leave my hair down to like just enjoy it, which is very rare, to be honest. So most of the time is either I'm in long-term protective styles or I'm in short-term protective styles. So like I said, if there is one thing you have to take from this video, please let it be protective styling. Now moving on, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is trim your hair when necessary. Now there are some people that believe you have to trim your hair every 1 month, every 2 months, every 3 months, or every 6 weeks. Girl, I would say do what works for you. For me, I don't trim my hair every 1 month. I don't trim my hair every 2 months. I trim my hair only when necessary, and I only trim my hair when I do a relaxer routine, because I don't see a need to trim my hair when my ends are perfectly healthy. I only go in to trim my hair when I see my ends are split, when I see my ends are damaged. But I don't do the prophylactic trimming thing where you have to trim your hair before you get breakage. I trim my hair when it's damaged and not to prevent damage, if that makes sense. So I only trim my hair when it's necessary and only when I relax my hair. And I do relaxer stretches a lot. Like I have even gone on a 1-year relaxer stretch, and I am currently on another one. So it's even possible that in a full year I may just end up trimming my hair just once. So yeah guys, when it comes to trims, do what works for you, and I would recommend that you only trim your hair when necessary. So yeah guys, so I think I've talked about 8 tips now in this video. We have like 16 more tips to go. This video is already too long and I don't want to make it too long and bore you guys, so there's going to have to be a part 2, so please just stay tuned for that. So yeah guys, if you watched this video this far and you enjoyed it, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If you are new here and you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing to join the family, and don't forget to turn on the post notification bell so that you'll be the first to get notified whenever I upload a new video. So yeah guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.